You're listening to the Common Fan Podcast, a Husker football podcast for the common fan, by the common fan.
Welcome back to the Common Fan Podcast. I am TJ Burkle, as always, alongside Matty Owens Sr. and Geoff in Lincoln. Hey, real quick, get to the Common Fan website, www.commonfan.co. Subscribe to the free newsletter. Sign up for all the social media accounts. Obviously, subscribe on YouTube, and you can keep up with all the fun and frivolity of the Common Fans. The Husker football team has wrapped up spring practice, but there's going to be a lot to focus on this summer. There's going to be a lot to talk about this summer. Yeah. There always is, right? And so you want to keep up with all the Common Fan activities. And the first place to do that is commonfan.co. Sign up for the newsletter and all the other fun things you can find there to keep up with the Common Fans. You can also go to cpbeef.com and get the best beef on the planet. Nebraska beef from Certified Piedmontese. They've got the best steaks, ground beef, burgers, ribs, roasts, beef bacon, all the beef. Go to cpbeef.com. Use the promo code CommonFan, all one word, CommonFan, to get 25% off anything on cpbeef.com. Last thing, get your Common Fan socks. Go to silliesco.com, SILLIESCO.com, and get your awesome Common Fan socks. Use the promo code GBR for life. That's GBR number 4 LIFE, and get 25% off there too. The discounts are flowing, Common Fans.
Flowing discounts.
Far and wide.
Yes.
There's so many flowing discounts. It's unbelievable.
Meat is discounted.
Unbelievable.
The meat is discounted. The socks are discounted.
We're not doing this again, Jeff.
Premium Nebraska beef at a reduced rate, Jeff. That's what it is. Gosh dang.
It's a reduced price. Yeah.
That's
Premium.
right.
CP beef burgers last night, fellas. It was delicious. Grilled them on the smoker. Oh, they were good. Damn good. Yep.
Hey, one more thing, guys. Congratulations to Ty Robinson, who was drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles. Thomas Fedoni was drafted by the New York Giants. And then you had a handful of undrafted free agents, at least as of this recording. John Bullock went to the Buccaneers. Isaac Gifford
went to the Ravens.
Isaac Gifford went to the Panthers, I believe it was. Did I see Isaiah Nayer also went to the Ravens as well?
Okay.
Did I see that somewhere? I think I saw that.
I bet you did see that somewhere.
Xavier Watts went to the Falcons. I don't know if you guys care about that, but that's
not really.
Just so you know.
Sounds like nobody cares, Jeff. Sounds like Jeff's breaking up anyway. Yeah.
We can just mute him if we have to.
But Jeff must be having.
Is my connection that bad? Is this bad?
Yeah, Jeff must be having connection problems. I don't know. Hard to say.
That's just great.
Can you guys hear me?
Okay.
Are we all right here?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay, great. Your screens are both frozen, but I'm sure we're fine.
I think it's you. I think it's a you problem, TJ. I think it's a you problem.
Yeah. I think it might be.
We're all at our home station. You're the one always out on the road.
I am at a travel ball tournament for my son, and I think the Best Western Wi-Fi may not be the best here. So
you know what we're gonna do though? We're gonna grind through this. We're gonna get it done.
We're gonna make this work, but for you, Common Fans, we're doing this for you.
This isn't for us.
This is for Husker Nation.
This is for us.
Hey guys, so I was listening to the Mitch episode, and I was reading about some of the spring ball Husker Games coverage, the Husker spring ball weekend coverage. Do you think we beat the garage sale joke dead enough the last few episodes? Like, do you think we need
It's never. There's never enough.
How dead is that horse? Do you think?
I mean, it might still be fairly, still just barely.
I'm riding
breathing.
it right now.
If it's not dead yet, then Jeff's gonna make sure and just really kick it a few more times. Yep. Kick that horse a few more times.
I mean, I'm waiting for Jeff to say that he saw some of the pictures, but he didn't see the Matt Rhule toaster.
I swapped out the toaster for a Matt Rhule laser disc. vintage. I think it's awesome.
Under Siege on Laserdisc.
I thought the horse was completely dead, and it was just the levels of dead. But maybe we're talking Princess Bride here. It was only mostly dead.
Yeah, mostly, yeah.
The horse
Mostly
was
dead.
only mostly dead. We're not going to talk Husker fans. We'll touch on. I mean, there has been, and will continue to be plenty of discussion and coverage of the sort of Husker Games weekend. So we got a little bit of a scrimmage from some of the reserves, and props to Coach Rhule for including some live football in the weekend and giving guys who, depending on how this 105-man roster limit plays out, guys who may not have a chance to be on the roster this fall, getting a chance for those guys to put some reps on tape and get their, something they can put out to other teams, basically. So props to that. You had the sort of garage sale, quote unquote, of a sale of Husker helmets and jerseys and practice gear, which looked really cool. And the line was super long, I saw on social media. So that was cool. You had John Cook doing the roping with John Cook,
Yes.
leading the roping. Yes. You had
lassoing.
Special teams coach Mike. The Bussin' with the Boys crew was there. I saw both Will and Taylor were there. So that's kind of cool. And I saw special teams coach Mike Ekeler and Will Compton both did some bench pressing to raise money for the Teammates Foundation. So they each put up, I think Ekeler put up 225 13 times and Compton did it 15 times. Jeff, how many times do you think you could put up 225?
Watch your mouth, all right? I don't have to
I'm just curious.
Question. You or anybody.
No, I'm just curious.
Anybody.
Do you think
I could run a mile in 7 minutes?
25 years ago, allegedly. Do you think you could put up 225 one time?
I think. What about how much does that bar weigh without the weights on it? What is that, like 45 pounds?
45 pounds.
I could do that maybe a couple of times, I bet you.
Okay. Well, Jeff, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step, Jeff.
That's right.
All right. So that'll be my next thing. We'll do the mile first, and then I'm gonna bench a plate. How's that sound?
Serious question. Have either of you bench pressed like any time?
Oh God, no.
I haven't bench pressed in years.
It's been years for me.
I'd be delighted if I could get a couple reps at 225. I don't know if I could even get one at 225.
I think I could get 225.
That's pretty. I mean, that's like right about benching my weight. And I don't know.
I think I get it 2 or 3 times. I don't know. I don't. Everything I read now is about the older you get, you're supposed to lift. I really hate lifting. I try not to do it. I do some push-ups every now and then. But I certainly don't bench press. Let me be clear on that.
What about hang cleans? You doing any hang cleans?
No.
Nothing of that. No
squats.
My ideal workout is to do some curls and then shoot threes for about 45 minutes.
That sounds like a good workout.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Get a little sweat going, but nothing too crazy.
No,
absolutely.
What are we trying to do here, really?
Exactly.
Are we competing?
I get my workout in on the weekends because my self-propel on the mower went out, so now I'm pushing the thing. So that's my workout right there.
All right, back to spring football. So we're not going to talk about too much about the festivities. We're going to look forward. Okay, Common fans, and we're going to think about the coming season, which is right around the corner now that spring ball is over. But also we're going to look at 3 takeaways from Nebraska's spring practices. There has been plenty of coverage. We've talked to Evan Bland about what's going on. We've talked to Mitch Sherman. We've had some of our own conversations. And so, you get less than ever out of spring ball. It's not like you're going to get a lot of insight into, Dana Holgorsen's offense. Mitch had some thoughts on that, but it's all speculation at this point. Or who the backup QB situation, you just get less than ever. The coaches are sharing less than ever. They put less than ever on tape. But I think as we talked about it in advance of this episode, I think there are a few things that we can say are firm takeaways. And the first one for me, guys, and it's funny as I was writing this out, I feel like we always give it to the common fan straight. Like we give our opinion straight. It just so happens that our opinion might be filled with Big Red Kool-Aid, right? Like
sure.
We're usually pretty honest. If we think we didn't like something, we share it. I think we're more on the more optimistic side of folks who are out there, at least putting content out there. But I couldn't help but think, and I'm super optimistic. Like I think there's a lot of reasons to believe in the Matt Rhule year 3 leap. But number one takeaway for me, guys, is the number of questions that are still out there. There's questions everywhere, in my opinion, right? So everyone's super super excited about what the special teams unit is going to do, what Mike Ekeler can do with the special teams unit. But the fact remains, special teams has been a dumpster fire for the first 2 years of Matt Rhule's coaching tenure. They've been bad for long before that, for the most part. And like nobody really knows. Like that's a question mark. And so like, what is, we believe in Mike Ekeler from David City, Nebraska, I might add. But we got to see it, right? The defense, we lost a ton. We've talked about this before. We lost a ton of guys on defense. Nash and Ty and a bunch of these guys who are off to the NFL. Some transfers. We lost defensive coordinator Tony White. To me, that's a huge question mark. There's been a lot of talk about how some of the replacements from the transfer portal and some of the young guys may be even more athletic than what we had last season, and maybe even more, bigger playmakers. That's great. I'm going to believe that. I'm going to think about that when I'm falling asleep this summer. But it's like we don't know until we see it. We don't know until the light bullets are flying, right?
Right.
Even Dana Holgorsen's offense. Again, any equation that adds up to 8 or 9 or 10 wins for the Huskers in 2025 must involve the offense being better than it has been the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so what, Jeff?
You're starting to sound like me, like the show me and I'll believe it type of thing, right? And
I'm just like we've talked about all these individual stories on their own. When you add them all up, there's a ton of questions going in this offseason, right? Yeah. I want to be clear. I'm drinking all the Kool-Aid. I'm gonna have us at about 11-1 by August. I want to be clear on that. But the fact remains, I think a lot of Husker fans, understandably, are to this point where it's prove it time, it's show me time.
Yeah.
And we won't really know until August and September and October, right?
Yeah.
I guess the only go ahead, Matt.
It's been like that, right? For
sure.
As long as we can remember. I mean, maybe going back 10 years. Maybe back to the Bo era. It's kind of been like, yeah, everything sounds great. We should have a good team this year, but let's see how it turns out. But you know what? This is fitting, guys. Today's gospel was about Thomas and Thomas's doubt, right? You guys know this. You guys probably went to mass this morning. I want to believe without having to see it. Unlike Thomas. No, I'm just kidding. But it is fitting.
Amen.
But that's just the way. That's just the way it's going to be, because we've heard every year we talk about the off season, national championships every year, and then in the last several years it's been only week 2 or 3 or 4 where we're like, oh crap, okay, well I guess that things haven't changed, so it's going to be really, really interesting. I'm with you. There are questions. Absolutely, but I'm gonna be unlike Thomas, and I'm gonna try to believe without having to see and have the proof.
Poor Thomas. I'm pretty sure there's only one time anywhere in Scripture where
Right.
the poor guy doubted. And look, maybe some of the other guys had doubts too. They just didn't vocalize them. But poor Thomas, 2,000 plus years later, everybody knows him as doubting.
The spokesperson.
Yeah. That poor guy. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right.
Oh, Tom.
Poor Tom.
Tom.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
My opinion was every year it's like this. There's questions. We're trying to figure them out. The difference for me, I think, this year is that we're actually doing things to address them. You know what I'm saying? Like we're swapping out coordinators. We're bringing in Mike Ekeler for special teams. We're picking up people in the portal. It just seems like in years past and previous coaching regimes in the past, it was just, yeah, well, hopefully next year it gets better type of thing.
Right.
But now let's
run it back with the same. Let's run it back with the same guys and the same plan.
We'll
it's
figure
going
it
to
out
change,
eventually.
Right?
At least this time we're addressing, and we the fans are actually seeing these questions being addressed, and hopefully it moves forward in the right way. But it gives me hope, and that's why I think we all drink the Kool-Aid, because we're seeing it actually be addressed instead of just like, we'll figure it out. Hopefully next season things will come around.
Right. We've heard TJ say it enough times that Matt Rhule doesn't stand pat. Right? Like the actions are being taken to right the wrongs.
Yes.
So that part for us as common fans, I think, is comforting, knowing like, okay, we know what the problems are. and we want somebody to do something to address it. And that seems like it's being done. So I
Yeah.
think that leads to a little bit extra, I mean, a little less doubt, maybe a little more hope, because we're taking action, trying to do something to fix these things. So,
Yeah.
but it's still like, you try to do that, you bring somebody new in, and now it's like, okay, well, who's our punter going to be? We had the guy that
Hmm.
came in, and now he's gone. Now we're going to do be rugby style, and do we have a guy that can kick it rugby style, or are we,
And
and I saw that we got this linebacker that was from California that just got a scholarship, was a rugby player. Well, maybe he's going to be the rugby punter. I don't know,
well, I
because
just
there's
asked.
just there are a lot of questions. TJ,
I
you're
just
right.
I just asked, would you just get somebody that can kick the damn ball? I mean, I know it's important to have like
Can
certain
you kick,
styles of
Jeff?
specialty. I'll get out there if I have to, but I want somebody that just can kick the ball, that can just kick a regular punch. And that would give
let's
me confidence right there. We don't need to overcomplicate things right off the bat. I know I'm not a special teams coach, but just get somebody that can kick the damn ball.
let's be clear. All of Jeff's eligibility went unused. So like, he got eligibility left. Okay.
I still want to be able to be that guy that gets thrown over the line in short yardage
Yes,
situations. I do
absolutely.
want that to
Absolutely.
happen if it becomes allowable.
Geoff, to your point about just coaches just running it back the same way
Yep.
in the face of evidence, all evidence. Somewhere, Mike Riley's special teams coordinator Bruce Reed just turned down the dial on the volume. Turned down the volume. That's when all this started. I'll goes
Yeah.
back.
Yep.
Goes back to Mike Riley. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. You guys don't have to worry about me. I've let it go. I've come to peace
Sure.
with it. It's totally
Sure.
fine.
Sure
I'm
seems
not
like
going to
it.
go down that rabbit hole at all. Okay. All right, number two takeaway, guys, and we've talked about this quite a bit too, but I think it's worth mentioning is Dylan Raiola is unquestionably the face of the program, right? So we have
Yes.
talked, and our guests have talked multiple times just in the last month or so about all that Dylan's doing in terms of proactively helping to recruit better talent to the program and getting in the film room and getting in the gym and taking boxing lessons to get in better shape and all those things. And then on top of that, being out in the community and not just supporting the university and other Nebraska sporting events, but local high school basketball games or whatever it is. The most recent example from spring game weekend is he's out there having some fun, throwing it around during that. There was a girls' flag football game, and Dylan came in and threw a few passes and ran around with that. And I just think that's super cool, first of all,
Yeah.
and it's like a sign of like you have to know who you are and be pretty comfortable and confident with who you are because that'll get ridiculed by other fan bases, no doubt. And
Sure.
they'll like they'll make jokes about how Nebraska's performance in recent years, and they love to make fun of Raiola, as Mitch pointed out. And like he probably knows that, right? And he doesn't care. Like he doesn't care because Husker fans eat it up, and he's the face of the program. Like like I would probably more than Matt Rhule even right now. Dylan Raiola is the face of the program.
What I would say most recent news is this is very timely, TJ, because we saw what happened with the NFL draft over the weekend and Shadeur Sanders and how he carries himself and how he carried himself when he played for Colorado, right?
I
And
was wondering how long it would take for Shadeur to come up. Anyway, go ahead, Jeff.
yeah, it's just he's the Dylan's the polar opposite of that guy because when you saw Shadeur fall in the draft as far as he did, a lot of people were saying, well, he's got the talent, he's good. Why is he not getting a job in the NFL? And it's because he lacks the traits that Dylan has. And Dylan knows that this is kind of like a job interview for him. Eventually, he's going to go on to the next level, I would imagine, at some point. And things like this just make you look good. Being a good person, getting out there in front of, being a leader, you're showing that you have these traits and these skills and these capabilities to take it to the next level after this. So I feel like, yeah, he is undoubtedly the face of the franchise. He's doing it the right way and the way that it should be done. And you can just see that if you take a different route and you play it out a different way, you may think you're the best at whatever position you play. It may not always work out for you. So I think that he does a great job, and keep it up, Dylan. You rock, man.
You rock, dude.
Matteo,
Yeah,
what are your
no,
thoughts?
that's well said, Jeff, because both guys, talking about Shador versus Dylan, both guys, either they or their teams, their people around them know that they're going to market themselves, right? They're both smart enough to know, hey, I have a brand, I can market myself. But there are different ways to do that. And I think that the way that Dylan and his people, his family, whoever's handling that for him, have done a great job of getting him out in front of people, embracing the fishbowl, like we've talked about on episodes in the past,
Yep.
but doing it in a way where he still has some humility and is showing leadership, like leadership ability and leadership characteristics by the way that he's going about marketing himself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm with you, Jeff. I think it's super impressive. And we talked about it a little bit with Mitch too on the last episode about how he's handling all this, and I'm
Yep.
extremely impressed. I was impressed with him when the way he handled himself as a true freshman. So I think it's super exciting. I mean, you got some of his, I can't remember who was one of his teammates I saw it's quoted as saying he should be a Heisman candidate, and and then he's throwing the football around with the girls flag football UNL girls flag football team. And by the way, I didn't see a ton of this stuff from the spring festivities, but you see a guy like Dylan usually with all his teammates around him, and then when you see him standing around a bunch of uh, flag football females, he's a big human, right? Like he's a big guy, not a small
Totally.
fella. And to see him hit they had like a basketball hoop set up, it looked like in the end zone. He threw one from, I don't know, the 40 or 50-yard line and just drilled it. Like that stuff's fun,
Yeah,
right?
that's
And
cool.
you see his teammates getting excited too when he does those things. So that's something that I think is interesting too. You watch, and I wanted to watch a little bit closer last year with this guy that comes in with all this hype and all this buzz and highly touted. What does the body language look like between him and his teammates, right? Like you kind of wonder, like a big play happens, our guy's going up to him and high-fiving him or slapping his helmet. And I think you saw some of that last year. I think we'll start to see more of it. Put yourself in a guy's, and I'm rambling here, but put yourself in a guy's shoes like a Ty Robinson or a Gifford or Nash, guys have been around 4, 5, 6 years. And then you got this guy come in as a true freshman. And he's kind of like trying to be a leader. Like, I don't know about you guys. I would feel kind of weird about that. It'd be like, I've been here 4, 5, 6 years. I put in my time. I put in my blood, sweat, and tears. And now this young, highly touted fellow is coming in and he's trying to be a leader. And it would kind of irk me, right? But I
Yeah.
think Dylan and the coaching staff, I think handled it pretty well last year. But now it's kind of like, okay, everybody understands, right? Everybody knows whatever year he was, no matter how long he's been there, he's the guy, right? He is the face of the program, and I think it's great. I mean, he gives us a little bit of swag, or as the kids say, you got a little bit of drip. Your kids
Riz,
say
Did they
that.
say that? Did they say that,
Riz.
Matt?
Does he have Riz
Riz, it's
too?
kind of Riz.
Yeah,
They're
Oh,
all
we're doing
yeah,
this
put it
again.
all into one
yeah. Here
Riz
we go. Here we
swag
go.
drip ball,
Yeah.
and
A Riz ball, drip
yeah, he
ball.
looks the guy's looks like he's trying to imitate Patrick Mahomes, but who doesn't want to be just like the best player in whatever sport that they're playing,
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
his
Like guys
idol.
did that with Michael Jordan
What?
for years, and Kobe, and LeBron, and guys have done it with Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. All these athletes, you try to
Yeah,
emulate who your favorite player
and
is.
Joe
So,
Montana and Ron Paulus and Rick Meyer and
Yeah.
they're all
Yeah.
great. Yeah,
No.
they're all
No.
great.
Nobody
They're all
cares, Jeff.
great.
I think you're breaking up again, Jeff. Um, so the only other piece to this, guys, is like, and not to diminish, he had really solid numbers for a true freshman, but like what needs to follow now is the performance on the field,
results.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, results on the field. So, but um, all excellent points except for the ones that Jeff made. So last one number. So our first two takeaways are questions everywhere. Dylan Raiola is the face of the program. That's not a question. And the last one I've got for you guys is just win, baby. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah.
what I liked that Rhule said at least once this spring, maybe more than once, he made a comment along the lines of, my job is to win football games. And some of the guys who came before me who got distracted, I don't think he said got distracted, but who essentially focused on other things other than winning football games got fired because of it.
Hmm.
And so we kind of talked about some of this at the beginning of the episode. And even though some of these are our questions, they're also signs of Rhule not standing pat, right? Going and getting Dana Holgorsen. And it's another lesson for me too, that You got to watch the actions closer than you watch the words. Because even after he brought Eckler in, or maybe it was around the time he brought Eckler in, there was the comment of, "Well, we probably won't do a whole lot different on special teams, and we just, we probably couldn't practice it much more than we've been practicing it." Suddenly, the transfer that they went and got from the transfer punter that they went and got from UW is back out on the transfer portal because they are going to be doing things differently under Mike
Right.
Ekeler. And he's letting Eckler, who's got a track record of building excellent special teams units, do his thing, right? And so I think one, obviously these guys always want to win, right? And I don't want to suggest that Rule's on any sort of hot seat, but I think he probably feels like there are some games that got away from them both in 2023 and 2024. And it's like he's kind of, I think it was Evan that made the point to us like maybe months ago, even where about how you're opening a new office or a new location, and maybe the team that gets it set up isn't the same team that's going to run it for the long term.
Yeah.
And I think Rule's learned a lot over 2 years in Lincoln. He's learned a lot in the modern day Big Ten, and it's literally all bets are off. Not only am I here to win, I have to win. Like he understands
Right.
you have to win at a place like Nebraska, and he will do anything and everything he can to get to that point.
Yeah. Well, and especially now with the way the whole landscape, for lack of a better term, has changed with money that's involved and all the other things that are going on, and the way you can fill holes and rebuild your roster in one off season.
Mhm.
Like, we talked about it during the season last year. If Indiana can rebuild their entire roster in one off season and compete at a high level, why the hell can't Nebraska?
Yeah.
So I think that really, to me, and it wasn't, because we talked about Colorado too doing similar stuff before, didn't really work as well as it did for Indiana. Shocking. Um, but if Indiana can do it, why can't we? I think that kind of changed something, I think, for us in our expectations. We have the money and the resources to bring guys in an off season and compete. We should be able to do it every single year. So, and
Right.
I think part of that, and maybe not, verbatim, but I think Matt Rhule realizes that, and it's like, hey, we really got to get it done, and we got to win. And I find it refreshing that he's willing to let Eckler and probably the rest of his assistants do their thing, as long as it's going to be whatever's best for the team is going to help us win games. I think that's awesome. I think it sends a great message to his coaching staff.
Yeah. And Owens, you brought up what I was going to say is that, well, there's two things. First of all, it's Nebraska. So clearly he understands that coming here. I know we haven't been the big winner in a while, but there are certain expectations, and damn it, we want to win. We're starving for a good season. He knows that the fan base wants this. We've we've been to the top of the mountain. We want to get back there again. But you pair that up with what you were saying, Matt, just the changing of college football. You don't get the luxury of time anymore. You know what I mean? Like your job can come and go just like that, the way that college football is structured now, where you don't get the luxury of being able to, build this thing out over 4, 5, 6 seasons and get to where you want to be, because people just come and go now. They leave and
Yeah.
you can't. You have to. Results are expected so quickly in not just the college football world, but just in life in general. Everything comes fast now. You get results immediately. There is no time to wait. And it's never been truer with college football that you can change it in just a year. You have to change it in just a year now. You don't get that luxury of time on your side anymore. So he recognizes that. He's doing his damnedest to try and, like you said, Matt, fill those holes and make it a reality and get us to that year 3 leap. So you're right. Just win, baby. That's what we got to
Yeah.
do.
I do want to say though, I don't think any of us want us to be a program that's rebuilding our roster every year. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that at all. Like, you still have to develop, and I think we all agree that, especially certain positions like offensive line, like you
Right.
can't. We got lucky when got Rocco in the offseason, and you can't
Rocco.
expect to get like a starting offensive lineman every single year
Right.
in the portal in the offseason.
That played on a
That's
national
one.
championship team.
Yes. Okay, Jeff. A national championship contender.
A, a, na-
They,
a,
they,
They're in the
they did
game.
not
a
win the
They're in the
national,
national
game.
championship.
national championship failure
They're in
team.
the,
Yes, they failed
they're in
to
the
win
game.
that game.
They're in the
But I
game.
think, but I think you do still have to develop. But it's
Yeah.
like, it's so much easier to plug holes.
Mhm.
Yep.
So Anyhow.
Agreed.
All right, guys, very much a lunch pail workman-like episode. It's kind of a transition episode. We have some fun episodes in the very near future coming up, common fans. And then I'm just going to tease this right now. I'm not going to
Go
make a
ahead.
major announcement quite yet, but those common fans who have been with us for a while will remember we did the Reckoning series last summer where we did 6 episodes looking at each coach of the post-Osborne era. And we've got another series in the works. It's very much in the works. It's not in the can yet, but it's very much in the works. Another summer series coming for you guys that we're really excited about. That's all I'm going to say for now. But we've got some guests lined up. We haven't recorded yet, but we've got a recording schedule and some guests lined up. It's going to be of great interest to Husker fans of all ages. And we're going to help you get through June and July once again. And then it'll be fall camp and all will be right with the world. So that's all I'm going to say for now. But we got another Reckoning-like series in the works that we're very, very excited about. And that's going to be coming to you in June and July, common fans. And so before that, we will have we'll continue to come at you once a week. We'll have some fun, some frivolity, all sorts of things. The Husker football talk never stops with the common fans.
No.
All year round. Any final thoughts, boys? Well, hey, let me ask you this real quick. And I got to run because I'm doing a travel baseball weekend. But since it came up, trying to keep it at the Reader's Digest version, what did you guys think of Shedeur drop into the 5th round?
I kind of already gave you my thoughts a little bit there. Like it was shocking, yeah, but I think we broke him. The Huskers broke him, and they even they put a clip out there. He even complaining about how Dylan Raiola during that game didn't have to run for his life, and he did, and so
threw his offensive line under the bus.
Yep. He quit at the end of the game. I think a lot of people forget about that he quit with like 2 minutes left. He just walked off the field. That's a bad look for an employer looking for a new employee. Is he going to quit on us?
Yeah,
that's what they're thinking. Is he going to quit on us?
I don't think Husker fans have forgotten about that, Jeff.
No,
they're not going
to. They celebrated every night.
I was, for me, I was, in a sadistic kind of way. It kind of made me a little happy that he fell out of the first round and then the second round. At a certain point, though, it's like it kind of got annoying to me because then it became, oh, what's the deal? Why isn't he being drafted? And then people start talking about being a race issue. I'm like, no, do you understand the NFL GMs will employ some of the most horrible human beings that they can play football? Right, I don't think it's about race. Right. Maybe it's about, hey, the kid's already made millions and he's arrogant, and then we got to deal with Dion. And I'm guaranteed most coaches and GMs just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything more. It's anything more than that.
I was having this conversation with some of the baseball dads this weekend, and it's like those GM jobs are some of the most fragile jobs on the planet. You have to win now. You will get fired for not winning. They do not care. Yeah. They if you can help them win, they will take it.
I mean, Michael Vick was part of an underground dogfighting ring, and he still ended up playing in the league. I think he got suspended for a year or something. But guess what? Came back and still played at a really high level because they don't care what kind of human being you are. They really don't.
Exactly. And at least the reporting was, or the commentary on social media was that he didn't take his interviews very seriously. He was selective in who he talked to.
Yeah, didn't even talk to most teams.
Didn't even talk to some teams.
I think the Giants
didn't do very well in the interviews and all that. So
Dable said, I guess from the Giants, it just sounded like he interviewed terribly or wasn't prepared at all.
And I would imagine, I don't know, I don't follow the draft. I don't know the NFL very well, but I would imagine it's most important. Like they're most interested in how your potential quarterback interviews. Like if your defensive tackle doesn't interview particularly well, you could probably overlook that, right?
A good comparison would be it's like in a real world interview for a job. He was the guy that shows up to the interview with like jeans on.
Yeah.
Jeans in an interview guy.
A blazer or no blazer, Jeff?
No blazer. No, actually, blazer. Take that back. Blazer. I love it. Blazer. A blazer with jeans. Yep.
It's a great look. All right, common fans, thanks for hanging with us. Great conclusion to spring ball here. And I can't believe spring ball's already over. It's going to be May, where this episode's coming out on Monday. So it's going to be May this week. And then we got who doesn't love summer? And then football season. It's all happening, guys.
Yeah.
It's kind of troubling how fast life is going by just generally speaking.
It's going to be here before we know it. We got golf, baseball, pool time, summertime stuff, and then it's football season.
Exactly.
Yes, indeed.
All right, we'll be back at you soon, Common fans. And in the meantime, as always, GBR for life.